Good morning. Good morning. My apologies. I'm actually a whole minute late. I don't recall ever being a whole minute late. Usually I'm apologizing for like 10 seconds or 20 seconds, but one whole minute, bad Anthony. So welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so what you would have seen from the email this morning is what we've been working towards. In fact, all the emails have always said something large, maybe something big, is going to happen in November. And it's not that I ever knew this was it. I just knew, hey, that something was formulating. And what I mean by that is, when you go through every day with RHINO, as I do, I get the opportunity to speak to every single person. And that's not an exaggeration. I'm looking at the attendees, and I've spoken to every one of you in the last month, 2 months, and that's amazing. That's super cool, whether it's email, phone, Zoom, whatnot. And as we've been moving, it's just been coming more and more to the front that every single RHINO that I speak to has a great idea. Everyone's super passionate. Everyone always asks me the same thing, Anthony, like, what can I do for RHINO? And I always say, no, it's fine. We're doing this, but when something comes up, and that was always true. But I think that can be true, and I can equally be doing not as good of a job as I could be, right? If somebody, or at least if you find that a large percentage of people are all saying the same thing, they're looking to volunteer their efforts to you, half because they believe in you, but the other half because they have a financial incentive that actually benefits them, their family, their finances, well, that's not something that's good to ignore. For instance, if, like Michael Jordan, best basketball player ever, probably the worst basketball owner ever. Charlotte Bobcats, I don't even know where they are now. Wayne Gretzky, best hockey player ever, was not a good coach. I'll tell you, when in my younger days, I worked for this company. It was called Green Impulse Marketing. We were the people that would go up to you in like the Costco's and the BJ's and the Sam's Club and ask you about your windows and siding. Yeah, that was Anthony at one point in his life. And I always did the best, right? Like I always had the highest numbers. And it was a confluence of factors, nature, nurture, all the rest of it. But I strove for those numbers, right? Like I was naturally gifted, but I strove for those numbers. And I always go back to the office and I would jump up and down and high five, and my team would always lose. And I was team leader, but I was young enough that I really, team leading, I want to lead by example. That's what I always thought was most important, lead by example. And I remember, and it's funny because as silly as a job as that was, and I'm old enough that was like a $7 an hour job. As silly as a job as that was, one of the most powerful things I ever learned came of it. And when people say, oh, you're lucky or this or that, it's not. You have to put yourself in the situation. Like people would say, well, the sentence you're about to say, and you were super lucky because what if that person never said it to you? Well, yeah, but I also made sure that I was always in a position that if that sentence existed, it would be said to me. So I don't think that's luck. But the point of the story is he goes, the manager, Mario, pulls me aside and says, Anthony, you are the most talented single person, but you're the worst team leader. He goes, I would never, ever start a company with you. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, do you not see the numbers? He goes, yeah, your numbers are great, but you can't teach. He goes, the fact that you can't duplicate yourself in another means you'll always have a ceiling because you can only personally do so much until you burn yourself out. I would rather take someone half as talented as you, but that could duplicate themselves in people beneath them. For instance, this person, he pointed out this girl, Kim, was regularly getting maybe half the numbers as me, but she would be able to take a new hire and bring them up to her level, someone that didn't know anything from anything and was automatically now doing 3, 4, 5 leads a day while I'm doing 11. But I could not bring someone to my level because I would look at them and say, come on, you got to do this. Really? Are you serious? All right, just get out of my way and let me do it. And that was never the way to do things. So it's because that sentence that there's certain things in life that I'll just recognize. And when we have an entire community all saying the same thing, Anthony, tell me what to do. I want to help. I want to help. And they're all emotionally incentivized, morally incentivized, and financially incentivized. That's the holy grail. Like, what are we doing here? That is everything. And I find that a lot of times, big growth is reserved for corporations because it is assumed that you have to have this big brand name and these billions of dollars in marketing and all of this investment funds and blah, blah, blah. Well, here's the thing with RHINO. RHINO is completely adaptable to everywhere we go because the pillars are basic morality, right? The basic pillar is people are presumed to be infinite until the world ends, and by then it doesn't matter. Therefore, if everyone agrees on a single investment, that investment goes up infinitely. It does not matter the price of it today. It does not matter the price of it 10 years from now. It does not matter the price of it 100 years now. As long as there always is a next person, it will always go up because it always presumes there's new demand. And guess what? That's not true when the world blows up. And you know what happens to money when the world blows up? It doesn't matter. You're dead. The point being, every company on Wall Street does this. They're all being purchased at multiples of their growth, right? This company's trading at 30 times price to earnings. Amazon trading at 1,000 times price to earnings because the belief is it doesn't matter what they were today. We see this much demand going forward. What has more demand than human beings? I can tell you there's always a next human being. And you know what I'm wrong? When we're both dead. Therefore, if humans simply just agreed to go ahead and come together, this asset can be created, which it is, the price can move higher, which it is, and it can happen infinitely. Now, whether you agree or not with that sentiment, I can tell you there's a lot of gray area between the sentence I just said and to completion. Completion is like 8 billion people. Right now there's 318. We have 318 paid investment plans every single week, and there's 8 billion people in the globe. Now, what I just said is going to make sense to at least, I don't know, 10% people, because I am truly of the belief that 10% are reasonable adults, and 10% of 8 billion is 800 million. Let's say I'm only 10% right, that's 80 million. Let's say, I don't know. The point is there's such a runway ahead of us. Meaning, if we have such a fervent and passionate system, like passionate rhinos, and there is such a clear runway in front of us, then why don't we put them together? So this is what we're going to do. Is any of the email up for discussion? Everything's up for discussion. Not right here, but you can always email me, email V. Yeah. So actually, reply to that email. It's going to go right to V. Or yeah, reply to me. And this whole weekend, I'm going to further expand on that email. But here's the point. Like, let's get to the bottom line. RHINO Bucks is now $1.71. It has always been our commitment that we're going to continually allow the coin to rise in a stable fashion. The way we do this is all the investment that comes in, we have ready to purchase the coin. Meaning if anyone decides to sell of any amount, the investment we have from everyone allows us to buy it right back up. The point being that we want to allow this to be of the duration till the billion coin are gone. Because when the billion coin are gone, the only people that own the billion coin are all of us. And us being 300 today, 10,000, 20,000 in a half a year from now, right? When I say all of us, what is the value of that? Because everyone is in a reoccurring small dollar amount investment. Everyone is in a reoccurring small dollar amount investment that's buying at market price, whatever the price of the coin is. Because everyone's buying at whatever the price of the coin is, it always will go higher because infinity has no limit. Therefore, if the coin's $10, everyone's buying at whatever price it is, maybe it goes to 11. And then you could use that same calculation all the way up. Because money is finite, there's only so much money in the world, then the higher that RHINO goes, the lower in aggregate all the other investments in the world go. Because RHINO can go up infinitely, that means the transfer of wealth from the 1%, which are represented in stock market and investment class, is going to transfer to the 99%, which are going to be represented in RHINO through the price appreciation of RHINO and the depreciation of their assets. That's how the 1% go ahead and transfer the wealth to the 99. How we're able to actually change the world going forward is so simple. It's search, right? By creating RHINO Street, which is a localized search engine for every zip code in the entire globe, and that's not an exaggeration, it identifies user location and calculates search results to be within a 20-mile radius of that user location by calculating latitude and longitude. Meaning no matter where you are in this entire globe, if you use RHINO Street, you will only get results around 20 miles around you, which means every locality has now been given their own search engine, and it's completely free, and it has no marketing, no nothing. So it really is the first solution to insulating local business, to insulating main streets. If the entire globe now has the opportunity to transfer the wealth from the 1% to the 99% and has the opportunity to keep the wealth within community, you now just change the world. This isn't difficult to put on paper. It's difficult to do in real life, which is why it hasn't been done. A lot of people have a lot of money and don't have an interest in doing this, which comes to the point of, Anthony, I don't really understand RHINO. You have this, but it's not worth anything. But then you have this, and it is worth something, but it's not coming into money. But this is going up just because people are buying it. I get it. Look at the end result, though. If it was so easy and so easily understandable to get to, everyone would be doing it, right? Like, that's the nature of invention. And that doesn't mean I'm going to be dismissive of these questions. I'll always do my best to answer them. But I do need a little bit of leeway where it's, okay, if we're trying to do something new, it's going to be a concept I've never heard of before. If it's an invention, I never thought of it because I did not invent it, right? Like, these are things that make sense. So here's what's happening. We're going to hire 100 regional vice presidents. Ideally, everyone would be in a different region, right? But we're not going to disqualify anyone because they're in the same region as someone else. So the way to do so is over this weekend, as you saw in the email, share RHINO, which is rhinostreet.com/affiliate. You will go ahead and obviously fill out your information, your name and your email, so that we know who's doing it, and then invite someone, friend, family, someone that you know. There's going to be a sentence that you're able to input, why they should join. I suggest making it something passionate, like, hey, this is really, like, if you ever were going to trust me, this is the one, something like that. And the email they're going to receive is proportionate with that. So I did write a fairly simple but passionate email that will be sent to every single one of them. Of the points being, the 100 RHINOs that invite the most people will be hired. Upon being hired, you're going to receive an offer letter Tuesday, offering you and welcoming you to RHINO. If you accept it, there'll be a Slack link. RHINO is going to cover all the overhead and all of the Slack membership fees, as well as the email fees, because I have to make 100 of these things. Slack is $8.50 per new user, and email is $5.99 a month, which means each new person is going to cost about $13 a month, plus the 25 coin. There's 4.3 weeks in a month. That comes out to like roughly 110, 113 coin. The coin's 171 now. It'll probably be 2 and 2.5 and 3, because we just described how it's always going to go up, which means RHINO's making a sizable investment. Here's the key, though. RHINO's investment is commensurate with the performance of RHINO. You see, I've always shared with you RHINO is everyone. And I think they accepted that. And obviously, as time has gone on, it's become more apparent that's true. But the ultimate test of it being true is like the sentence between boys and girls. To love someone is to give them the power to destroy you and trust that they won't. That's what trust is, that you know everything about me. For RHINO to take on such an overhead in making these hires, RHINO will be destroyed, will be bankrupt. RHINO will go away. This idea will be done if these hires, if our RHINOs, if you are not really in it. And what I mean by that is once we make these hires, that next Thursday, we're going to send you an email. What are you best at, right? Like, how do you think you could best contribute? Do you think you're the best email marketing? Do you think you're the best door-to-door? Do you work for a parent-teacher organization? Like, you're going to tell me. I'm not here to tell you how to do what you need to do. I want you to tell me how you think you could be best situated, right? Like, that's my job, to make sure everyone's in the best ability to succeed. In which case, then the following Monday, November 14th, is our orientation day. We'll have 2 times for Slack because I know we're global, so time zone could be a little tricky. So we'll have one in the morning, one in the evening. And that Slack channel will have everyone getting together and, all right, this is how we're going to move forward. Mike, Jones, Anthony, Todd, Tyler, Frank, this is what you've said is what you're going to be best at. This is how I envision it working. Is this something that works for you, or share some advice with me? The long and short of it is, by the end of that orientation Monday, we're all going to know what we need to do, what we're accountable to, and how we can best do it. Each day in those Slack, we'll just check in. Nobody has a 9 to 5 with RHINO. Just check in during the day. Hey, this really worked for me. Maybe it'll work for someone else. Hey, I'm at 10 today, blah, 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 right? Like, I'll go ahead and set that up, like structure what it looks like, but all you're really accountable to is a check-in. Here's the key. I think I've said the key, but here's the aha moment. RHINO is worth $1.71 right now with 318 members. If we hire 100 and each of the 100 simply just do 10 a week, that's 1,000 new members a week. Imagine tripling the value of RHINO every week. And here's the key. When this works, it's scalable. What if everyone that got into RHINO we offered the same opportunity to? What if RHINO had 1 million different team members across the globe? What if every user of RHINO was a team member? What if the coin that they were compensated in was purchased because we ran out? What if every single person's employment, their compensation was buying the coin at any price? Well, now you could see a really quick path to infinity, because not only are all the reoccurrings doing it, but all the employees are doing it. And not employees as in you need to go on the market and buy your own coin. No, I need to go on the market and buy the coin for you. As you can see, this can get out of hand pretty quickly. Imagine a world where everyone had a fair ownership of it. Welcome to RHINO. So I'm going to spend the rest of the weekend improving that email because this is something that we're really doing a strong call to action for. RHINO wants 100 regional vice presidents starting November 14th. And anybody that knows me knows, all right, Anthony's really not going to let this go. He's going to get it done. And I will. So this weekend, if we could have, I don't know, 1,200, 1,500, 2,000 referrals to go ahead and get everyone involved. Imagine how many new members that is for RHINO. And I say for RHINO, we all own RHINO. Everyone here owns coin. Everyone owns RHINO. And everyone wants their investment coin. Everyone wants this to be a success. Well, here it is. Are you willing to do the work? Because I could tell you, I brought it this far, and not I brought it, but you know what I'm saying. I can't do it all the next step. So I believe in our RHINOs, and let's see who the 100 are, right? I absolutely love you all, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.